In this tutorial, you'll learn how to seamlessly blend surface and solid modeling techniques to create this vase. Keyboard shortcuts are displayed at the bottom left, and as always, we'll start by following Fusion's first rule, creating a new component. Start your sketch with a center diameter circle positioned at the origin on the horizontal construction plane. Set the dimension to 100 mm if you'd like to follow along with my dimensions. Using a circle gives you better control over this part of the vase, which will make the final steps easier. You only need to work with a portion of the circle, but it's important to know what fraction you're using so you can create a pattern with the correct quantity later. To do this, draw lines to define a segment that represents 1/8 of the total circle. Since a circle has 360 degrees, dividing it by 8 gives you 45 degrees, but you'll work with half of that, 22.5 degrees, or 1/16 of the circle. Next, set up the 22.5 degree angle on the other side to complete your total of 45 degrees. The black lines indicate that your sketch is fully constrained, making it more predictable and easier to work with compared to blue sketches, which aren't fully defined by rules or constraints. Later, you'll use surface modeling commands. To loft a specific 45-degree segment, trim away the parts of the circle you don't need. You can keep the other sketch lines even if you don't need all of them. They might come in handy during future edits in the Fusion timeline. Set up an offset plane 200 mm above the horizontal construction plane. Then use the view cube to reorient your view so you can clearly see both the sketch and the new plane. Create a new sketch on your offset plane and use the project tool to bring in a linked copy of your original sketch geometry. Because it's linked, any updates to the original sketch will automatically update this one too. Offset the projected sketch by 30 mm. Even though it's larger, it still represents 1/8 of a full circle, which will fit perfectly when you later create a pattern with a quantity of 8. Before moving on, click the Home button next to the view cube for a quick quality check to make sure your sketches are properly positioned on different planes. Use the Loft command from the surface modeling tools to connect your open profiles. Since the profiles aren't closed, you need to use the surface loft instead of the solid loft. I'm keeping it simple by using Fusion's default settings for this operation. Now create a new offset plane in front of your surface model. The exact distance isn't critical. I'm using 150 mm, but anything with a little margin from the surface will work. This extra space gives you room for future adjustments if needed. This is a perfect time to save a new version of your project before moving on to the pattern. Once you've saved, create a new sketch on your latest offset plane. Press and hold the mouse wheel to pan and reorient your view if needed. Use the Fit Point Spline tool to draw the shape. It's ideal for this kind of work because it's easy to sketch and adjust. Start your Fit Point Spline above the shape. This makes it easier to finish with a clean straight line toward the top later. Create a quick first draft that captures the essence of your design idea. Don't overthink it. Just get the big picture down. Finish the spline below your surface model for the same reason. It'll give you better control over how the end connects at the bottom. It's easy to adjust both the control points and the curvature by moving the green handlebars. As a rule of thumb, keep the number of control points low. You don't need many because the spline is so flexible. Next, offset your spline to create a second spline outside the first. This new spline stays linked to the original, so any adjustments you make to the first spline will automatically update the offset as well. There are some pros and cons to this workflow, which we'll cover at the end of the tutorial. One clear advantage is how it lets you see exactly how the pattern looks within a single 1/8 segment of the vase's circumference. For the next steps, you'll need a closed profile, and you can easily create that using the line tool. You'll know the profile is closed when it fills with a light blue color. It's tempting to keep refining the sketch, but you don't have to perfect it now. Mirror your closed sketch profile. Make sure to select both splines and both lines. Use Orbit to reposition your view and select the vertical construction plane at the center of your model as the mirror plane. After confirming the mirror operation, you'll notice it's even easier to fine-tune your design now with the mirrored profile in place. You can always revisit and adjust this sketch later through the timeline, but for now, this version is good enough to move forward. Now, thicken the surface 2 mm inward to preserve the outer dimensions of the vase. If the direction is opposite to the blue arrow, set the distance to -2 mm. Make sure the operation is set to New Body. You are now ready to apply the sketch profile to the solid body. Activate Emboss and select both closed sketch profiles. Set the effect to Emboss so the profiles stand out from the face. Set the depth to 2 mm and leave all alignment settings at 0. They are not needed here. Once you confirm, the sketch profiles will appear on the solid body. Well done. To save time, improve quality and reduce errors, make your adjustments to this 1/8 section before multiplying it. Start by adding fillets to the embossed sketch. The selection order matters. Using the rolling ball setting on all edges at once gives a different result than filleting the edges first and the top separately. You'll need to fillet both patterns since they come from 2 separate sketch profiles. An alternative workflow is to emboss just one profile and then mirror it. This keeps your sketches and 3D edits simpler, but you lose the visual aid of having both mirrored profiles visible when adjusting the splines. It's not just about finding the most efficient workflow, it's about discovering modeling practices that suit your personality and feel intuitive so you can make the most of your talent. And don't forget to fillet the bottom, it's an easy step to miss. To make this video more enjoyable, I'll show you how to add a custom appearance to part of your solid body. Then we'll skip ahead, since watching me tweak colors for 2 minutes isn't the best use of your time. Start by searching for a base color and applying it to a face. Right-click the color in the Appearance menu and choose Edit. You can enter RGB values here, and 2 levels deeper, you can also use hex or HTML color codes. For inspiration, you can find color palettes online with well-matched tones. When you need more custom colors, just duplicate the one you've edited and repeat the process. Well done! You're almost finished with your Fusion project. There are still a few important steps left, and now's a great time to save your file before multiplying this part of the vase. As a general rule, it's smart to save before asking Fusion to run complex calculations. Having your design centered above the origin helps when creating a circular pattern. You can easily select the blue Z-axis as the pattern axis. Fusion suggests a quantity of 8, which is perfect, since 360 divided by 45 gives you 8 instances. Make sure the distribution is set to full to complete the full circle. Everything looks good so far, but there's still a large hole at the bottom of the vase that needs to be addressed. This is a good time to discuss some pros and cons of this surface modeling workflow while you fix the hole in the bottom. When you use the Sketch Project tool, it can be time-consuming to select the small fractions of each circle. A quick solution is to add a circle, but this circle won't be linked to the rest of the model, meaning it could be too big or small if you change the bottom dimensions of the vase. While extruding the circle is easy, be mindful of the small gap that may appear between the vase and the circle if you extrude without a taper angle. This might be fine if you're using the vase for dry flowers, but it could cause issues with stability and water tightness if you're planning to use it for water and soil. Revisit the Appearance menu to apply appearances to the new parts of the solid body. One advantage of the surface modeling workflow in this tutorial, as mentioned earlier, is the ability to sketch on a controlled section of the vase, 1/8 of the total circumference. Another benefit is the added flexibility that surface modeling provides. As an alternative, you could create the full solid vase from the beginning, use the Emboss command, and apply a circular pattern to the Emboss design. Your 3D printing settings and manufacturing options can also influence the modeling structure choices you make. Great job finishing the Fusion tutorial. It's completely optional, but if you want to support the channel, thanks, likes, subscriptions, shares, and comments are highly appreciated. Good luck with your 3D modeling and 3D printing projects, and I'll see you in the next one.